Okay, let's talk about the stairs and cutting out. My height to my finished floor is going to be to the top of that, and that was 89 7/8. So once I get that measurement, I needed to kind of determine my height of each step and the depth of each step. The height is called risers, and the depth is called treads. Now there's a thing called total run. The space from the back of the wall as far out to my first step is going to come. So I think for this it was 105 or 110 inches. Either way, that left me with about 13, 14 inches worth of concrete here. So you'll step onto the concrete, step onto a stair, and come up. And the first step on my steps that I built will be about here somewhere. And then the 12th step, because there's 11 steps on my stringer, will be the top of the deck. Here's what I did to figure all this out. I used a stair calculator. It's right here. I don't even know if that's picking up anything. I'll put in a little screenshot or something. But it's mycarpenter.com. Put in the height, and it kind of does the rest of the math for you. I'm going to end up cutting this knot out. So this is my first step right here. You guys see it's traced out all the way down to the end. So this cut is going to get cut right here, all the way through the board. My first cut. So you can kind of picture this right here. Here is a step. And then right here is going to be the back of my stringer. And then once that section's cut out, I'm going to cut each and every one of these triangles out. And these are each a step. And once you get to the end, this is my last step. Here's my tread. This part actually has to get shortened up. This last step. So each step here is 7.5 inches. 7.5, 7.5, 10 inches, 10 inches. This is 10 inches. This last one is actually going to be 6.5 because the thickness of my stair, my tread that's going on here, is 1 inch thick. So, for example, if I had left this at 7.5, 7.5, and 7.5, when I first put that 1 inch on, it would actually turn this first step into 8.5, and that would carry all the way through the stairs. And so if I make this one step an inch shorter, and I put that inch thickness material on, the decking in this case, this first step is now 7.5. And then this here would then bring up shorten this distance to 6.5 because I put an inch material here. But then when I add the next 1 inch material, I'm still at 7.5 from finished material to finished material. And so this is pretty crucial. If you don't make this first step enough shortened enough to match your finished material, then it's going to screw every single stair from here on out. And then that would mean your very last step would be really screwed up, and then people would be walking up and then you'd trip, because by the time you started walking up these stairs, you kind of get your cadence, comfortable steps, and then when you got to the top one, your foot would hit probably or something, or you'd miss a step. So I cut it pretty close with getting this size of a stringer, this 2x12, because it's almost exactly the length that I need. And that was actually part of my struggle trying to figure this out a little bit. Normally I get something that's like 2 feet or so longer on each end, so I can just start almost anywhere on the board and have room for error or something, and I can just figure it out, and then I'll cut off the excess. Not with this case. So everything's getting cut at the lines. This will cut here, this will cut here, and you can see this is going to be the bottom of my stair. So this part will sit on the ground or on the concrete, and then this one's going to be the face and everything else. And then stair, stair, stair. And then over here, I think I've kind of touched on that already. This is going to get cut completely through like that. And this is the part that's actually going to, that's part of the reason why sometimes looking at the tracing can be a little confusing or set you off a little bit. Because what's going to happen is once I cut this through here, this is going to sit flat like that, which obviously is going to put the whole stair at an angle, which is what you want. And I believe this is 38 degrees, maybe 36 degrees. I think it's 36, which is a pretty comfortable stair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out, and I'm going to use it as a template to test to see. I've already checked my measurements. They're all 10 and 7.5. And I kind of had my cam on when I made this little jig here. So this is my riser, and this is my tread. So essentially this is what's going to get cut out of here. So this gets cut out, and then this is it. So for example, this is what I did, just like that. I just, and then went down the line just like that. Lined it up, scribed it. I'm gonna get cutting. I got time lapse going, and then we're gonna set it up and see how it looks. Alright, time lapse me cutting it, but there's kind of a test fit. So leaves a little bit of concrete here, and then I'm gonna cut 4 of these. Wow, looks good. That's about where it's mocked up. Yeah, that'll get me up to the deck, no doubt. All right, gotta cut 4 of these. I'm gonna use this as a template, trace out the other ones. There she is. Looks amazing. It's gonna be very sturdy with the 4 stringers. I like the amount of space I have in front with the concrete, and it worked out really well where I can take my deck board here and go across and still be above this little lip here, so I can just come across. Oh, that worked out really well. That took some figuring out. Pretty happy with that stair angle. Nice and wide. I did 48, technically, well, 47 inches is the end to end, and then I'm gonna have it overhang like a 1/2 inch or so. So that would give me 48-inch stairs. So really cool. It's braced, it's screwed in right now. I won't be able to do anything until I have all my extra material. So all I really did was I measured, marked 47 inches on, screwed in flush there, and marked the centers, and just did 3 braces to keep it all together. And when I put the risers on, which I'll do first, that's what I'll make sure it's all good. I'll cut them all the same length and then slowly work my way up. I'm gonna put some blocking on the back side of this wall and really secure it to this. Right now I'm screwed into my top plate right here, so, which is good for now, but I'm gonna put blocking between these bays and then have something for the stringers to all screw into really well. Be real sturdy. Well, here are the risers on this, all PVC. Sorry I didn't film that. I was on a time crunch. So, all right, I'm gonna time lapse that. Putting the treads on. Here they are, they're solid pieces. It's gonna look nice. Oh, sorry, I had to cut that short. I broke 2 T10 bits screwing this in, and I didn't have any more. And so I had to wait till the store to open so I can get more. All right, we're gonna set you on time lapse again and get rocking and rolling. Sorry I haven't filmed this. I got started on it, and it is a pain in the butt. Each one of these stair sections and everything in the post, nothing's pre-drilled, nothing's pre-assembled, so I have to put it all together, each spindle and rail, and clip everything in, and yeah. So, this is just where I did these two. The bottom posts are taller, so this is how I'm doing it. I have a deck board clamped in along the stair nosing, and then I set the rail that I just put together. And now I'm going to take these mount pieces and I'm going to essentially, set them up on here, and then I'm going to trace where they're at, and then I'm going to cut the rail and then put the mounting hardware on, test fit it, and then I'm going to take these apart again. I just assembled them, mount them, and then put them on here and then remount them again. So it's time consuming, at least with the stairs, the stair rail. One thing I found, you have to definitely be sure to mark which one's the bottom and which way it's facing, because that does make a difference as far as sliding into place. To be perfectly honest, I am not having a good time putting this together, so haven't really filmed anything. It's just been frustrating, but I got it figured out, and I'm moving pretty good. So now just a pain in the butt. I was hoping to be easier. I think when I get on top, it'll be easier. Everything will be level and plumb and everything. So with this, as far as this goes, just the different angles and everything, it just makes it a little more complicated. But it's coming along, and it actually looks amazing. The railing looks really nice once it's together, and it's really solid. I mean, this thing doesn't budge, and it's only gonna get stronger when I connect it in further. Stairs are looking good. A lot better than what was here before. I'll never have to ever do any maintenance on any of this stuff. So I got the stair rails done. Big pain in the butt, but it could just be me. But it looks great. I got the rails to line up pretty well, and I had like an hour while my kid was napping, and I just threw that up. And before I can really go any further, I have to cut these end pieces so they're all nice and flush. And I just threw a chalk line down. Alright, I'm going to call it for now. I have to go move some truck around and disconnect some trailers and go pick up a tractor. Actually wasn't going to put in these little braces just because of the span didn't seem like it was that far it would need it, but I have a little one and another one on the way, And I can already picture them sticking their little feet in between here and standing on it, so figured I might as well put it in while it's easy. So, alright, my back hurts, and I'm pretty happy with how far I got in the little short amount of time I had, and it looks really, really good. It's gonna look really nice when this deck is complete. Deck looking good. Kiddo's sleeping right now. Gonna try to get some done. We got the baby monitor up here. I'm gonna mount this post. I've been putting it 1.5 inches out. Just use my square on both sides to make sure it's nice and even on there. I marked the center of that post and marked the distance between each one, so it's all gonna be the same even sections in between. It's gonna look real good. I'm gonna just set you guys to record time lapse and get to work. Alright, that's going to do it for episode 5. Hopefully you'll join me on episode 6. In the next episode, we're going to be putting in the cantilever supports and trimming it out and building the doors for the storage underneath. Thanks for watching.